Hi, how you doing all? I've had a couple of requests for how I edit some of my shots. So here's the first one. A place called Cove. Shot it a few weeks back. Yeah, it's a basic edit really. You've got the big rock in the middle, you've got the sky. So that's the main two different dealings of the shot really. I do my global adjustments first, and then I use a bit of brush on the sky or graduated filter, and then a brush on the rock. So it's the three main parts of the shot. See what you think. Nothing major. I've tried to speed it up as quick as I can so it's not boring. Ideally I would have spent a bit more time using the brush around the rock where the rock blends in with the sky, but enjoy, and hopefully someone might help something from somewhere. Cheers for watching. This is the picture how it come out the camera. As you can see straight away, there's a bit of a bowl there. That for some reason, I don't know why, shooting into the sun sometimes you get a bit of a bowl there. I mean, it's a good lens. I'm using the RF 24-105. Anyway, the first thing I do when I open a file in Lightroom, I haven't done anything to this at all. No before or after. Look, that's the file exactly as when I open it. First thing I do is I go down to my lens corrections. I go remove chromatic aberration. You normally get that when there's, you get like a colour around the edges against the bright backgrounds. That's all I can say. You get it with trees on horizons and stuff like that. That should get rid of that. Enable profile corrections, which should be my Canon RF 24-105. So hopefully that's nearly straightened that up a bit. Not good enough, but it's nearly there. Now I come down, constrain crop, and all I do is I put my my mouse over the rotate bit there, but then I use my up and down cursor keys. So now I'm using the up cursor key. 1, 2, 3, just to straighten him up. I can see there's a little bit of a bowl there. 4, yeah, that's probably good. Go back 1, and then what I'll do is I'll go up to my distortion, slide him down, and that should lower the middle, or if not, go the other way. There, that's about it. Should get rid of the distortion of beauty, because the horizon is what everybody is going to see. Bit more. That's not too bad. Quite happy with that. Maybe one more. Like I say, cursor key, put it over and just use the cursor key. That's pretty good. I quite like that. So that's pretty much the straightness of the picture sorted out. Then what I do, since I've upgraded to, I pay monthly now for my Photoshop and Lightroom subscription. I found out I upgraded my Lightroom when I got my Canon EOS R, and when I first imported my files, my raw files, I thought, blimey, how noisy the files are on my Canon EOS R. But it wasn't. What I found out was with the new version or the new update of the Lightroom Classic, it ups the sharpen to 40, and it never was. It used to be, I don't know, 25 or something like that. So anyway, the first thing I do is, again, drop my cursor over, knock him back to about 25. Then I go down to my noise, luminance noise, and I knock him up to about 20. And that kind of globally deals with the whole thing, hopefully. Well, it does. That's what I've learned on this anyway. So then first of all, that's my lens corrections done. That's me straightening pretty much done. A good way to see if your straightening's done is zoom in to about 1/3. And then just float your horizon up to the top of the screen. You can see it's a bit wider here than what it is here. Look. So now I'll go back down to this bad boy here, and I reckon he needs one little bit. There, look. I'll come back out and then zoom in again. Go to another bit. Slide him up, and he's pretty good. I might need to just tinker with the distortion a little bit. He's not too bad, but you get me sense of me drift anyway. And then slide him across to the other side. You can see there's still a little bit of distortion there, isn't you? Just a smidge, not much, just a smidge in the middle. So what I'll do is go back down to me distortion. Middle's too high. Drop him a bit. I reckon that's pretty good. All takes time, these little things, but that's what people are going to notice. You put a shit hot picture on Instagram or something like that, and if it's not straight because they open it on their phone, they can slide up and down, you'll get ripped to shreds. And anyway, it's nothing worse than someone buys a print off your website, they hang it on the wall,
and they put it next to a shelf or something, and they're like, is my shelf not straight, or is that picture not straight? Right. Then what do we do? Then it's difficult when I edit a picture, because I'll do it like normally now. I would edit that, and then I would kind of disappear, make a cup of tea, take the dog for a walk, do all the chores. Not that the missus would admit to that, and then I'll come back and do a bit more. But let's try and do it in one hit. Global adjustments first. So pretty much temperature. Looking at this shot, because there's not a lot of colour to the shot, I would probably go for not like a black and white, because this would be too much black for my liking, but kind of a desaturated look, kind of cool, because I'm going to bring these shadows up a little bit, kind of like a metallic-y look. So I'm going to go into my white balance. I'm going to do all my global adjustments first, which means I'm working on the whole picture, not my targeted adjustments. And I'm probably going to bring the temperature down a little bit, 5,900, because I don't need the warmth. I want it to be quite cool. So you'll notice it in the blues coming in there, but that's all right, so I'm going to lose the blue in a minute. I'm going to come down to about 5,500, so I've dropped it a bit. Yeah, quite like that. Right, now highlights. I'm going to drop these bad boys down, slide them down, slide them down, slide them down. I'm not going to go all the way, I never normally do. I'll normally bring it down to about 90. So it's only affecting the sky anyway, look, boom, sky and a little bit of water on the left. Yeah, so bring highlights down to about 90 below. Shadows I don't really need to do yet, because I'm gonna work on this big bit of rock. Going to work on the big bit of rock by itself, so I'll leave that. Whites I'm not going to touch for a minute. I don't feel I need to. Right, vibrance. I'm going to bring this down, like I say, because I don't really want any colour. And I'm going to bring him down to about there. I've lost the blue, look, about 35. Saturation. Bring that bad boy down to, I don't know. Thing is, every shot could be different. I just don't want to. I don't want a complete black and white. I want a smidge of colour. Well, not colour, but I just don't want complete black and white. Yeah, like that. Clarity. Don't normally play with clarity. I find it puts a lot of noise in the pictures, but this kind of moon-looking shot, I think it will lend it to it, and it should look quite nice. Again, all these are, as I'm going through, I'll probably play with them and mix them about a bit. Everyone's got their own kind of style, but I'm going to whack that bad boy up to about 30, gives it a bit of punch. You can already see a bit of detail coming back in the rock, but I'm not working on the rock yet. Like I say, I'm just doing these global adjustments. Right, tickety-boo. Now, I'm going to go for my graduated filter up here. Make sure all these are back to where they should be. And I'm going to pull my graduated filter down. See there again, that's another way of testing if your horizon line's straight, using the line of the graduated filter. Look, that's pretty close. It's pretty close. Nearly there. See, if I keep a little hand over the middle spot, it shows me the red, shows me where the filter's affecting, and that's pretty good. Now if I come down here, take that one, show selected mask overlay, it shows exactly what you're touching. And what you've always got to do here, I don't know if you notice sometimes when you look at some people's photographs and there's like mountains in the shot, you can see they've put a graduated filter on, whether it be digitally or analogy, the old-fashioned way where we slide the filter in out on site. Is you can see they put a filter in because the tips of the rocks are darker, and you're like, no, all it would have taken was just a little bit to lift the shadows in the edit stage. So I'll come over here, I'll go to brush, I'll go down to erase. Now this brush is erasing, and then all I do is just erase the red. Computer might run a little bit slow because I've got this recording in the background. Just a little, get the edges. Right, and then you turn him off. See, what you can do, you can just hit the exposure, boom, and it shows what you've got, what you're playing with there. I know that red works pretty well, but now to mess this sky up a little bit, I want to punch the start. The sky's pretty good anyway, but I want to punch it up a bit more. I'll drop the highlights again, get a little bit more down from the highlights. The contrast, whack him up, 15. I'll come down to my clarity and I'll whack this bad boy right up. Yeah, like that. And what I never used to use, but I use quite a lot now because I never had it, was this dehaze. Got to go gentle with this bad boy, because if you put him up, you can overcook a picture big time, and you'll notice it on these edges here. You can see on these edges here where I just needed to spend the time to go around that. So with dehaze, I'll bring him back. And normally I'll just go up for about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And even my computer's slow, or he's not picking up. Ooh, drop him back. Drop him back to about 15. Quite like that. Now if I go down here, in fact noise, I've introduced, because I've used clarity, I've introduced a lot of noise. So I'm going to get rid of the noise. Come down here. That's without the adjustments. It's quite a nice sky anyway, and that's with. Cool. I just needed to spend a little bit more time going around here, but you don't want to watch me doing that. That's me sky done. So we spent literally, what, I don't know, less than 10 minutes on the picture. If I go before and after, look at that already. Not a huge amount, but picture straight. Sky looks a little bit better. Don't ask me what this is. For some reason, when I'm editing in Lightroom, I get these funky kind of red colours. It doesn't come out in the print or the picture afterwards, but yeah. Let's go back to the main picture. Now I want to deal with this rock. And what I'll do is I'll get my brush, make sure all these are reset. Go to my mask overlay. And then make sure he's on auto mask, and that should pick these edges out and literally just colour in the rock. Now what I need to do, touch into that, touch into that, touch into that, is go to my erase brush and tidy up the mess that Lightroom just tried to do around the edges. Cool, that'll do for reference. Because like this here is dark and the sun's over there coming from that direction, so I don't really want to bring shadows back in this bit of rock. I don't really want to lighten this up too much. Sometimes I'll just put my settings on here that I want, recover a little bit of shadow, sharpness and whatever, and then just brush it in where I want it. But because you don't want to put sharpening in the dark areas, it's just going to fill it with noise. So now if I come over to my exposure, it should anytime today. There you go. We know now it's doing the whole rock, but look, I need to spend me time tidying up round here, but no worries. So now all I'm working on is everything in red. Cool, cool, cool. So now I'm going to go to my shadows, and I'm going to bring my shadows up a little bit. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Bit too much. Bring him back to about 40. Cool, like that. Sharpness. Whack that bad boy up to about 50. I need to apply a little bit of noise reduction to about 15, something like that. And another new one which I like is this texture. Bang him up to about 10. Boom, look at that. This is really, just kind of looks really sharp now. Now if I go on and off, on, boom, it just gives that kind of metallic look. Love it, love it, love it. The only other thing I might do is just go in third, go in for a half, and just have a little look at what the sharpening's doing. Come on, render, render, render. And hopefully this looks alright on your screen, because it looks as sharp as on mine. Right, before. And now after. Boom, turns it into metal. I might actually put a bit more texture in there. It just kind of looks metally and brilliant. Love it. Done. Come back to the outer screen. Cool. Pretty basic one, this. You've got your global adjustments, your sky, and your bit of rock in the middle. Look at that. That looks bloody awful there, but that just takes time going around the edges. Right, now I would go down to... There she is. Put a bit of a vignette in. It's going to darken up the top of the screen here. Bit of a darker sky. Little bit around the edges because this was in shadow anyway, and just put your concentration to kind of lead your eye into this rock. Not that there's anything else in the shot, but I'll end up going down to about 20, I reckon. 15, 20, something like that. 2, 3... 20. Quite like that. And sometimes what I do, sometimes you've got to watch because you get like a roundness. You can see it up more here. You can see like a roundness. If I go on and off, look, on, sorry, off. And if you look up here, when I click on, sometimes you can see a bit of a roundness up here. On. See it? Just a little bit. So sometimes my midpoint, I might just drag him out a little bit. Cool. And sometimes to darken the edges a little bit more, I'll use this on my lens correction. I'll just pull him down. Yeah, it gives a little bit more funkiness, like that, like that. And that, as a quick edit, is from start to finish. That was the start, that was the finish. Cool.
See you in the next vid. Cheers. Bye.